Hello, it's Cheds. It's great to be here with you. We're doing My Battles with Cancer, a patient and caregiver's candid memoir. This is the audio version on YouTube. You're here at Cheds Trading on YouTube. I posted this book in 2020, and then I went back and I published this book in 2020. I went back and republished it in 2023 after I did like a really long edit. And then I recently released the audiobook on Audible. So now that that's done, I'm recording the entire book for free on YouTube. I'm also the author of Trading Wisdom and Trading Quotes. I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds, of course. So here's where we're at so far. We're up to how I survived chemotherapy. We've done all the chapters above, and now we are at how I survived chemotherapy. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I'm going to keep reading if I make a mistake or, something like that. I'm just going to keep going. How I survived chemotherapy. First of all, I would like to say that every patient is different, and I would not claim that what worked for me will be the same for you. That being said, I do think this is a good point to stop and reflect on some of the things that helped me get through 6 cycles of chemotherapy and able to avoid some of the most severe side effects. Medications. As I mentioned before, I had been prescribed 2 anti-nausea medications from the hospital, Zofran and Compazine. Throughout my recovery period, I was able to avoid using them because of THC and CBD, and therefore I was spared the brunt of the side effects of these medications. I believe that CBD and THC are absolute wonder drugs and most certainly among some of the most powerful healing medicines on earth. THC, which stands for tetrahydrocannabinol, is the chemical responsible for the psychological effects of marijuana. According to Wikipedia, tetrahydrocannabinol, that's a hard one. I get stuck in it often. THC is one of at least 113 cannabinoids identified in cannabis. THC is the principal psychoactive constituent of cannabis. Like most pharmacologically active secondary metabolites of plants, THC is a lipid found in cannabis, assumed to be involved in the plant's self-defense, putatively against insect predation, ultraviolet light, and environmental stress. THC has been used for many years by cancer patients to help deal with the side effects of cancer treatment. According to the National Cancer Institute, the potential benefits of medical cannabis for people living with cancer include antiemetic effects, which means it makes it less likely to throw up, appetite stimulation, pain relief, and improved sleep. An antiemetic drug is one that is effective against vomiting and nausea, according to Wikipedia. In addition, the National Cancer Institute explains that one study in mice and rats suggested that cannabinoids may have a protective effect against the development of certain types of tumors, and cannabinoids may cause anti-tumor effects by various mechanisms, including induction of cell death, inhibition of cell growth, and inhibition of tumor angiogenesis invasion and metastasis. CBD, also known as cannabis oil, stands for cannabidiol and is a naturally occurring element found in the hemp plant. It interacts with our body's endocannabinoid system to cause beneficial physical changes. What is the endocannabinoid system? Well, according to healthline.com, the endocannabinoid system, ECS, is a complex cell signaling system identified in the early 1990s by researchers exploring THC, a well-known cannabinoid. Cannabinoids are compounds found in cannabis. Experts are still trying to fully understand the endocannabinoid system. But so far, We know that it plays a role in regulating a range of functions and processes, including sleep, mood, appetite, memory, reproduction, and fertility. The description of CBD from Wikipedia is as follows. Cannabinol CBD is a phytocannabinoid discovered in 1940. It is one of some 113 identified cannabinoids in cannabis plants, accounting for up to 40% of the plant's extract. As of 2018, preliminary clinical research on cannabinol included studies of anxiety, cognition, movement disorders, and pain. This article also points out that CBD can help facilitate the absorption of THC into your body. Laboratory evidence indicated that cannabinol may reduce THC clearance, increasing plasma concentrations, which may raise THC availability to receptors and enhance its effect in dose-dependent manner. Unlike THC or what most people think of when they hear the word marijuana, CBD does not get you high. It does not produce a psychotropic effect. I know from personal experience, as well as from speaking to others, how amazing CBD can be in helping with anxiety. You may also have heard of Charlotte's Web, which is a form of CBD. Some parents have been giving it to their children who have uncontrollable seizures, and it's made an amazing difference in their lives. According to Wikipedia, Charlotte's Web is a high cannabinol and low tetrahydrocannabinol cannabis strain, marketed as a dietary supplement under federal law. According to this article, 3 phase 3 clinical trials completed in 2017 demonstrated the efficacy of cannabinol in reducing convulsive seizure activity in children with treatment-resistant Dravet syndrome and treatment-resistant Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. THC and CBD are also neuroprotective, according to a study posted from the American Journal of Pathology. From the discussion section, furthermore, our studies show that systemic THC or CBD also exhibits neuroprotective effects by attenuating nitrotyrosine formation. Honestly, the science part of this and producing everything is the hardest, and pronouncing everything is the hardest part of reading these. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, neuroprotective means serving to protect neurons from injury or degeneration. So, why is this fact important? Well, most of the chemotherapy drugs I took to beat cancer had the side effects of injuring my neurons, often leading to a condition called neuropathy. I discussed this topic earlier in the book. Before starting chemotherapy, I already had experience with THC and CBD, and I knew that they had made a positive impact in my life. When I had an ACL surgery earlier in the year, I did not need to use any opioid-based pharmaceutical painkillers due to my use of CBD and THC medicines. The inflammation in my knee also subsided much quicker than was expected, which helped to speed up my recovery time. Diet. On average, over the course of chemotherapy, a patient loses 10% of their body weight, and yet I managed to gain 5 pounds. I contribute this to the fact that I used THC aggressively with edibles, such as cookies, or with a sublingual method via tincture drops mixed in water. As a result, I was not only able to manage my nausea from the chemotherapy drugs, but I was lucky enough to have an appetite on occasion. When I was hungry and had a settled stomach, I would eat as much as I could, knowing that there was no telling when my appetite would return. Following this rule served me well, and I believe was a key reason that I actually gained weight during chemotherapy. In order to stay healthy, I drank the Bolthouse Farms Green Goodness veggie smoothies, and I added wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is a superfood that contains many amino acids as well as vitamins and minerals missing from a normal diet. According to Wikipedia, wheatgrass is a source of potassium, dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, pantothenic acid, iron, zinc, copper, manganese, and selenium. In addition, when my wife and I would cook, we made sure to add turmeric. Most people grind it up and add it as powder to their food or even drink it with tea, as I did with some ginger as well. Turmeric has been studied for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties, as well as its ability to help fight cancer with one of its components called curcumin. Wikipedia describes curcumin as a bright yellow chemical produced by some plants. It is the principal curcuminoid of turmeric, a member of the ginger family. According to the Mayo Clinic, curcumin is thought to have antioxidant properties and can help with swelling and inflammation, and is being explored as a cancer treatment. Before my cancer diagnosis, I was not that much of a salad eater, but I did enjoy a nice Caesar salad on occasion. One of the things I had to cut out completely during treatment was lettuce, as the leaves could possibly be carrying a disease or fungus that my body would be unable to fight off. The same concept applied to vegetables and fruit, as I could not eat them without the skin cut off. They too could be carrying a disease or bacteria. It was admittedly rather demoralizing to think that an invisible enemy on a vegetable, fruit, or piece of lettuce could do me in. Resting. During my treatment, I made sure to do a lot of resting, and I listened closely to my body so as not to overexert myself. Knowing that I was going through a lot of changes, it was critical to pay close attention to my health and not take anything for granted. My main focus was to make sure that I gave my body what it needed to recover from each chemotherapy cycle. I aimed to achieve this goal by eating properly and staying hydrated. Before starting treatment, I spent a lot of time preparing my recovery room at home. For example, I made sure to set up the TV at just the right angle to watch from my bed. I also made sure to lay the perfect number of pillows behind my back so I could be comfortable while laying there playing video games or watching TV. When I came home from the hospital after each chemotherapy session, I could barely move, and I usually just laid there for a full 24 hours. Sometimes I was even unable to get out of bed and walk to the bathroom. Having those creature comforts close by made all the difference in the world. The major theme here is that I made sure that everything I needed was within arm's length. Exercise. As a result of laying in bed all day, my body wasted away from a lack of exercise. Slowly but surely, over time, my energy level dissipated away to almost nothing. The doctors and nurses had warned me about a condition called neuropathy. This was a side effect of the several chemotherapy medications I was administered. So at least a few days a week, I tried to do some basic cardio exercises to stay ahead of the curve. Before my cancer diagnosis, I had been regularly taking long walks for exercise, but that was out of the question during treatment. Not only did I not have the energy to do so anymore, but I could not risk braving the cold weather during winter. A few years prior, I had taken some kickboxing classes. So from time to time, I would do a few of those kicks and punches in my bedroom just to get my blood flowing. On other days, I would go on short walks around the neighborhood, never straying too far as I did not want to tax my body in such a weakened state. Social interaction. During my many trips to the hospital, I met a plethora of orderlies, nurses, and doctors. Each time we interacted, I made sure to look them in the eyes, to treat them with respect, and to thank them for their help. I felt that it was critically important to let these people know that I appreciated what they were doing, given how many folks they have to deal with on an everyday basis and the stresses of their jobs. Staying at home by myself while recovering from chemotherapy was a lonely experience. So the interactions that I had with staff and patients at the hospital helped to keep my spirits up and my social skills sharp. It was also really important for me to fully surrender myself to the medical professionals and to allow them to take my life into their hands. As someone who is usually thinking several steps ahead and trying to control the elements of my daily experience, it was difficult to surrender myself to the process. Once I was finally able to let go, I was able to properly play my role as a patient. It was also important for me to try to move around when I had at least some strength. However, much of the time, I did not even have enough energy to get out of bed and sit at the computer. The days that I could sit at the computer, I tried to take advantage by doing some work or playing video games. When I was in the mood and able to do so, I would sit at the computer and talk to my friends on Twitter. I relished the ability to feel almost normal for a little while and able to temporarily forget about that next wave of chemotherapy coming up. With my mouse and keyboard, I was able to reach out and interact like a regular person. That went a long way towards making me feel better and helping me to survive my treatment regimen. Support. Perhaps the most important reason I was able to successfully handle the chemotherapy treatment was my support network. My wife was amazing. She stayed strong for me all throughout the process, doing whatever it took to make sure I was comfortable and had what I needed. I knew that it was hard for her emotionally to watch me struggle while I went through that treatment, but so I tried to remain as brave as I could. She also had to handle family responsibilities that I would otherwise have taken care of myself, and that added stress to her life. Being aware of this fact, I often reminded her of how much I appreciated everything she was doing while I was sick. My mother was also vitally important to me, and not only as emotional support, but practical support as well. Whenever we were in a pinch, Mom would come over and help out, including picking up my daughter or dropping her off at daycare. Anytime I was feeling down or just needed someone to talk to, I knew I could call her up and would have her full attention. That meant the world to me. She later told me just how difficult it was for her to always be on call and still live a normal life. So I let her know how much I appreciated everything she had done. My father lives a few hours away, so he was not able to provide the practical logistical support that my mother was, but he was always there for me when I needed to talk. My sister was also a key member of my support system. She helped to liaise with the hospital system and always provided me her honest opinion about how to proceed with the challenges I was facing. She was my medical backstop, my ace in the hole, and the one that I knew I could trust with all matters health related. My friends were also supportive, one of them remarking, I feel bad for that cancer, knowing you are going to kick its butt. It was interesting to see how each of my friends reacted to the initial news of my diagnosis. And as a result of the positive way they treated me during chemotherapy, I feel closer to all of them now. My online friends and followers also played an important role, being there for me when I needed to vent or was feeling low. Without exception, they would offer me encouragement and reminded me that I was an inspiration to them. That helped me to keep pushing forward. Now that we've reviewed what helped me get through chemotherapy, let's get back to the story. That was how I survived chemotherapy. Next chapter will be hair. Well, it'll be fun to talk about. This is my Battles with Cancer, a candid patient and caregiver's memoir. I published this book in 2020. I republished it in 2023. And I just published the audiobook recently, available on Audible. I want the entire book to be available for free to anybody. And that's why I'm doing this here on my YouTube channel at Cheds Trading. I've also published Trading Wisdom and Trading Quotes. And of course, I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. So folks, thank you so much. And I'll be back with another chapter soon. Take care.